I wanted to talk to you about today is our judges. As you know, there's a lot of controversial political stuff going around, and a lot of it involves the court system. Most of our judges, most of our state court judges are not at the level to get involved in something like that. The immigration and things like that are not issues that they consider. And let's hope none of them get arrested or, anything crazy like that. But in Missouri, we have two ways that you can become a state court judge. If you are in certain counties, the more populous counties generally, you're part of the Missouri, what they call the Missouri Plan, because we were the first state to ever have judges picked this way. And it is a way where the judges are, there are commissions in the different jurisdictions. There's one in St. Louis City, one in St. Louis County, one for the Eastern Appellate. And then there's one for Greene County, Platte, Jackson, Clay, maybe one more, and the other two appellate divisions. So each one of those areas has a commission. The commission is composed of a mix of lawyers that are elected by the lawyers, lay people that are appointed by the governor, and the chief judge of the Court of Appeals. Or in the case of the appellate commissions, the chief judge of the Supreme Court. If you qualify to become a judge, you can apply in your county or city or appellate district when there's an opening. And the qualifications have to do with your age and how long you've lived in the jurisdiction. And there are different qualifications for different levels of court, for associate versus circuit versus appellate. You have to be a lawyer, and you have to have resided in your district for X amount of time. And then the commission, I can tell you, people, oh yeah, this should be pretty easy, don't realize how many tens of thousands of phone calls they're going to get when people start applying for an opening. And we usually have 20 or 30 applicants for every opening, which is good. And the commission picks 3 names that are sent to the governor. And I can tell you the Republicans are a lot happier about this process now that they have the governorship than they were when there was a Democratic governor. But it's whoever is governor gets to pick from those 3 names. And it's called the Nonpartisan Court Plan because the judges are not running as a Democrat or Republican. They're applying, in sort of a neutral way. But there's definitely politics involved in the process, as there would be in any kind of process like that. Probably any kind of state board or commission that picks members has politics involved in it. But for the most part, we have been very successful with this in getting good judges. Every couple of years, every even-numbered year, there are judges that are up for retention on the ballot. And this is such a year. I'm on the committee of the Supreme Court of the bar that sends out surveys to the judges and to the lawyers and jurors and gets data back on the judges and makes recommendations about who should be retained. And I will share those recommendations with you when we have them, which will probably be the first part of September. But it's important, if you live in the city or the county, to be informed about this. If people are telling you to vote them all out or that kind of thing, please don't, because the process to pick new ones is time consuming and lengthy. And I will not be out all my judges. So let's keep them in office as much as we can. You may have been interested in a judge in St. Charles who got up to some shenanigans and was removed by the Missouri Supreme Court. St. Charles is not part of the Missouri Court Plan. It is a county where they get judges the other way. They just elect them on Democrat or Republicans for quite some time. Although it used, when I first started practicing in the 80s and 90s, it was mostly Democrats. But now it's kind of swung to Republicans. But it's basically, lawyers who live out there who are interested and they run. And they have to fundraise events. I can remember when a judge that was a friend of mine was running for election as a judge out there, and he was having a golf tournament. And there was a thunderstorm, and we were in this metal shed with lightning crashing down. And one of the reasons why I like the nonpartisan court plan better, because I don't have to go do any golf tournaments. And recall, I think in those counties that have that nonpartisan court plan, or that have the elections, like, um, in Audrain County or county like that, probably most people know each other. And so if someone's running for judge, you know them, and if they're a good person and if they're smart and that kind of thing. St. Charles has gotten too big. I hope that they will join the nonpartisan. In the meantime, they have these elections, and you're asked to support, as attorneys or community members, 10 or 12 different candidates that are running. And then when a judge gets elected, if you supported the other guy, do you want to be appearing in front of it? I don't know. There's always a risk of, being hometowned or, creating bad feelings with that. But I just wanted you to be a little bit aware that we're going into a season, along with other crazy things that are going to be on the ballot, of judges. And I want to encourage you to not listen to social media and those lunatics. And if you don't know anything, then just don't pick. But like I said, Judicial Performance Review Committee, I will share them with you so that you can be informed about the judges. Anybody have any questions about that or anything else? Sorry to be so sermony. I just wanted all you guys to know this. We just had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about ways to get the word out to voters about, the process. And I said, well, I talk to people, I'll tell people. So, okay. Any questions about judges or about anything else?
Now that comes up in the fall, did you say, Kathie?
Yeah, that will be, the judge retention will be on the November ballot. And in counties like Dave, you're in Cape, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you have a primary in August down there? The counties, I think he's trying to unmute. The counties where they elect, like St. Charles or Cape Girardeau or, Jefferson, they'll have a primary. And I'm always confused about when the primary is going to be, because it seems like we have primaries all the time. We have them in March, we have them in April, we have them in August. But I think it's probably on the August primary, and then they'll be on the ballot in the general election. But for the judges in the big counties, the city, the county, the appellate judges, Kansas City, Springfield, they'll be on the ballot for retention in November, along with, congressional races, and apparently what's going to be about 10,000 ballot initiatives, and I don't know what else.
So April will be municipal ballots voting, and then August would be the primary.
Primary. Thanks, Dave. So it's a ways off yet, but my committee is already starting to work. We've already sent off to all the judges that are up for attention this time to get their information, and we're getting ready to send attorney surveys out to get the attorney's feedback, and then surveys will be sent also to jurors, and then our committee will meet and review all the materials the judges have submitted and all the surveys and make recommendations on retention. And we're hoping to do that by the beginning of July, so that our recommendations will come out the beginning of September, because, a lot of people vote early now, vote by mail, that kind of thing. And that can start, pretty early in October. So we want to get that out there so that everyone will have time to see it. Okay. Everybody good? What else can I do for you?
Very informative. Thank you, Kathie. That's very informative.
You're welcome.
We'll